It's never been more over. It's never been more over. I was in my office, waiting for the call that would potentially change the future of Eastern Mokopa. The phone started ringing. I took a deep breath as I held it to my ear. I heard the voice of Queen of Rumburg from the other side. Mr. Rayne, how pleasing it is to finally get a chance to speak with you in person. I am Queen Beatrice Livingston, the Queen of the Four Corners of Mokopa, defender of Castle Zarsborough, conqueror of the target of the Tranquil Sea, stout protector of the ancient lands of Rum, descendant of the most honorable King Edward I, and the rulers of Rumburg. That's very nice to finally talk to you as well. Excellent. Now, given the circumstances, I never thought I would be giving you a personal phone call. Yet, here we are. Even after what Sordland has done, I am showing you my willingness to talk instead of cutting off communication. Why did you call? Please listen to me carefully. This is your last chance. I am offering you a peaceful way out of your dire situation. My demands are simple. You give us control over our stolen ancestral homelands, Estrord and Narbel. Can I scroll? Okay, there's Narbel. So they want these two cities. If I was getting 16% before, giving away a giant chunk of the country, that's gonna get me fucking shot in the head. These cities are surely of lesser importance to you, judging by the way your country is treating them. That's all I ask. If you fail to comply, to put it simply, we will take them by force. A war, Mr. Rayne. So please, I beg you to have reason. Think of your citizens, think of your people. Do not enter a war that you have no chance of winning. You must be out of your mind if you thought I would give in to your threats. A pity, really. At least my conscience is clear. I have given you a chance and you refused. You failed your people. War it is then, Mr. Rayne. You will regret your decision until your last breath. The line dropped dead. And just like that, the Rumburg War had begun. Ah, shit! Okay, well. Well. Now we simply just have to win. We now simply just have to win the war. Rumburg closed all diplomatic channels in Sordland and blocked all incoming and outgoing communication. Our intelligence army reports that a troop movement to the border is indicating a preparing for an invasion. David, I need to talk to you. David has scheduled a private meeting with me, but he did not specify what it was about. I can take a guess. Mr. President, may I come in? Take a seat, David. Thank you. He slowly made his way towards the chair in front of my desk and sat down. First of all, thank you for your time. Anything for you, David. I want to ask you how you are doing. It looks like war is truly upon us. It must be taking a toll on you, just like it did on me all those years ago. But of course, I won't presume to understand what you're going through right now. I was never the leader of a nation during wartime, after all. Honestly, I'm tired, David. I'm tired of it all. Before you do any military decision, ask for, Before you do any military decision, ask for use. I know that feeling. Trust me, I know. Sometimes you just want to throw away all the responsibility and escape. Perhaps into the wilderness, perhaps into the sea. I mean, it would be nice, wouldn't it? But I could never do that. Unfortunately, men of power are bound by duty and responsibility to the nation. He started coughing. What a privilege. Oh, he's got cancer? I had just a chance to watch my student grow into a fine and strong leader in my lifetime. What a privilege indeed. You brought a reform to Sordland. You and my student actually did it. You don't know how proud I am to be alongside you. It was only the beginning. Much more waits on the horizon. I know my student. I know you. You have the capacity to do so much more. David coughed again, this time for longer. I overheard a conversation the other day near the newspaper stand. It piqued my interest, so I kept listening. They were talking about you. They were calling you a radical centrist. No! Ah, it's the worst thing you could know! What do you think about that? I refuse to be called a centrist. My father, Artur S. Whiskey, used to say, always know yourself. I remember last time when we played this again, when we played this 5 years ago, they called me a Malivist. So we're shifting ever more to the right. He stopped for a moment and took a quick look at his watch. So elections are fast approaching. How are you feeling about your chances? We'll see. We'll see. Uncertainty doesn't suit you, Mr. President. I'm afraid of an announcement to make to you. Go on. After the term is done, I will be retiring. I would be lying if I said I wasn't expecting this. I've been in this line of work for many decades now. I swore an oath to myself years ago that I would quit if I ever felt like I didn't have the physical capability to serve anymore. At that point, I would become a hindrance. The time has come, Mr. President. My bones are aching, my hands are shaking, my voice is failing. Besides, I'm sure you can find a younger minister who was a little bit more full of life. He winked at me and chuckled, which turned to another cough. You've been a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. Thank you for your service to this country. It was an honor, Mr. President. He stood up to leave. I'll give him a little hug. Best of luck, Anton. Thank you. We're fucked, David. We're fucked. David, it's never been more over. Women for Rayne. So I have 16% of people say they'll vote for me, but 54% of women say they'll vote for me. I've got the women vote locked down. I have so for me that's 16% of the overall vote, with 53% of female voters. Then I've got to be polling 2% with men. Men fucking hate me. But women, by God, am I a ladies' man? They love the shit out of me. 2 out of 3 of Sordland is male. Ah, shit! Okay. Workers' Party strong. Workers' Party coming strong. Lacking his Workers' Party ability is showing great promise according to the latest polls. The party's been rising in popularity even in major cities outside of Bergia, like Haven, Holsord, and Valigan. At a rally yesterday, Lecky said, the Bloodish force is finally able to finally coming to the assembly. The Workers' Party of Bloodia campaigns outside of Bergia? That's surprising. That'd be like if Bloc Quebecois campaigned in Alberta. It wouldn't make any sense, but sure. As Arcadia grapples with the rising power of the Katanan Security Pact, its military intelligence arms are operating in full force, ensuring a direct and confrontational check against CSP naval activities. The presence of the CSP's fleet, with the backing of United Katana's vast resources, threatened to disrupt Arcadia's key supply chains, adding fuel to the already flammable situation. Hello, Armando. How are you? Yet, Arcadia's strategic response isn't limited to its official armed forces. The nation is smartly integrating 2 prominent private military companies, Cerberus International and Palantir Security Solutions, into its defense strategy. By leveraging these companies, Arcadia strategically detaches some military actions from official state oversight. Okay, and David Visky, Sordland's foreign minister, has announced that he will be retiring at the end of the President Rayne's first term. The son of Sordland's first president, Visky has enjoyed a long and fruitful diplomatic career and serves as something as a mentor to President Rayne. The Rayne administration has not yet announced a potential replacement should Rayne be elected to a second term. Okay, Congress has been canceled due to the upcoming war. What's everybody else saying? ATO signed a non-aggression pact for 3 years with Inaraka. Amid escalating tensions between the United Katana. The ATO has signed a non-aggression pact with the Federation of Enrakan Isles, located strategically between the continents of Mercopa and Katana. Okay. That's in Holsord, the CSP. Vice Secretary Chairman Togzeliti Ayotake of the United Assembly of United Katana has made a groundbreaking announcement. He has proposed the World Revolutionary Manifesto, a revolutionary vision calling for the ideological shift towards Malianism and Vagslanian socialism globally. This manifesto aims to revolutionize global governance, focusing on investment in education, infrastructure, health, rather than military investments. Okay, continuation of CSP's colossal investment in the scheme, initiated 3 years ago. The Republic of Lesbia reaffirms its steadfast dedication to its alliance with Sordland. The Lesbian armed forces remain prepared to stand in solidarity with our allies in any challenge that may arise. Should Sordland seek Lesbian support, our nation will respond without hesitation. Okay. Door opened and Lucien entered. Mr. President, there's a problem. Yeah, no shit! What is it now? Some cabinet members say they want to speak to you urgently. They are in the White Room. Please follow me. We started walking. Are they going to ask me to step down? You know what it's about. I was just told to come get you, sir. I opened the doors and we entered the White Room. I looked around. Someone was sitting, playing with a pen in front of him. Pascal looked incredibly stressed. He wiped off his sweat. So why did you call me here? Mr. President, we are here to let you know that we are handing you our resignations. I see, you're trying to sabotage me before the election. That is not why. We simply cannot go on anymore after what happened. But why? What are your reasons? I suppose we owe you an explanation. Even though you acted against the epidemic that saved millions of swords, I cannot and will not stand by your abuse of power. The things you did behind closed doors shook me to my bones when the news came to my knowledge. You may have had your reason, Mr. President, and that is for the greater good, but the same line of reasoning will simply lead to more atrocious actions. What did I do? Wait, what did I do that made... What secret... I only made like one backroom deal with what's-his-face. I failed my mission in the economy. During our term, instead of stopping the recession, we made it even worse and entered the Swordlish Depression. I blame myself for this. I couldn't offer you better solutions. I have proven that I am unfit to serve as the minister of the economy of Sordland. You never seen Pascal resign? I don't even know what his problem is. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you. Likewise. Well, I have no choice but to accept your resignations. The ministers left and I took a seat alone in the White Room. Simon had failed his job and could always be replaced by another expert. His departure wouldn't be felt and the damage he had done won't be forgotten. Pascal Hart was in the right place, and it's sad to see he's leaving. I don't know what I did to Pascal. Like, genuinely, I don't know. I don't know what I did. We have resignations. Sources in the Maroon Palace have revealed that yesterday multiple influential members of President Rayne's cabinet approached him to tender the resignations. The identities of those who resigned, the reason for doing so, and a timeline for their departures remain undisclosed at the time. However, this development, when considered alongside a recent upheaval within the administration, is expected to have a significant impact on Rayne's prospects for the upcoming election. What if I, like, can I scapegoat them? Like, this is all their fault, right? This unfortunate folding events underscore the challenges the president faces as he seeks to secure his political future. Well, it's not looking good. In the wake of last week's high-profile cabinet resignations, attention is shifted towards President Rayne, whose term is nearly its conclusion. As of now, no appointments have been made to fill in the vacant positions, raising questions about the stability and effectiveness of the current administration during this critical period. Undoubtedly, the developments will signify influence to the upcoming election, as President Rayne seeks a potential second term in office. Okay. After the latest wave of cabinet resignations, we have to ask who, if anyone, is still supporting Anton Rayne. To have such a valuable and experienced officials desert the administration so close to the election is both a crushing blow and a decisive referendum on the Rayne presidency. I hate everyone. I hate everyone here. With the election looming and war on the horizon, I've practically been sleeping in my office lately, but tonight I made a deliberate effort to go home early. Frank was coming home to dinner for the first time in months. I told everyone I wanted a family supper, just like in the old days. Monica promised to cook up something special. As usual, a crowd of protesters were waiting for me outside the gate of the complex. The guards formed a cordon to let me in through. I hurried past them, went inside, and locked the front door behind me. I heard footsteps coming my way. Hi, Papa. Hey, how was school today? She shrugged. I won a prize at the science fair. Honestly, I think they're teaching girls different stuff before, because they know we were smarter than the boys. You might just be right. Dina smiled and pointed at the kitchen. Mama's in there. I've got to do some homework before dinner. I followed her with her eyes as she went upstairs. She was starting to look more and more like her mother. I stepped into the kitchen. Monica was stirring a pot on the stove. Her back turned to me. Okay. I'll hug her from behind. I snuck behind Monica and gave her a hug. She screamed and dropped her ladle. When she realized it was me, she smiled and gave me a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, Anton. I guess I've just been on edge lately. Why don't you go fix yourself a drink up in the living room? I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat down in the living room, poured myself a bit of whiskey, and flipped through Monica's women's magazines. It took me a second to realize Monica herself was on the cover. The headline, Sordland's Woman of the Year. Suddenly, Frank burst through the door. Sorry I'm late. I ran into a couple of my friends protesting outside. Pretty awkward, telling them I was having dinner with you. He flung his backpack in the corner and sprawled out in the chair. You could have invited them in. There's enough food. Ha! Even if they would cross the picket line, they're vegetarians. Dina came running down the stairs. Frank! Frank! Hey, Pipsqueak. The two of them ignored me for a moment and started chatting away about their schools. Monica appeared in the doorway and smiled warmly at the sight of the three of us. Dinner's ready. The three of us gathered around the dining room table. Monica ladled the bowls full of zabla. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Now that we're all here, I wanted to say something. I know the past 4 years have been hard on all of us. I was so busy focusing on the needs of the Swordish people, I sometimes forgot about the Sordland's most important people, my own wife and children. I hope I can make it up to you someday. Monica's eyes were shining. I could just retire. I could be like, you know what? I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try. Or we can go on holiday. Holiday, or we just... At one point, I fucked up so bad I did retire and move to Arcadia. I want to see how badly I lose the election, so... Once the election's over, I'm taking you all on holiday. She sighed heavily. Anton, I think you should stop. Not just drop out of the election. Just quit politics entirely. I can't. I've come too far. With everything that's happened, I don't think the public's on your side anymore. And every day you stay in government gives your opponents more chance to spear your reputation and ours. They're making fun of me at school because of you, Papa. I know things will be easier for me once everybody stops talking about how I really got in the Holsord state. I've ruined my life. You being president, it hasn't been easy on any of us. Maybe we should go back to the way things were before. I'm sorry, Monica. I've got to keep going. Her lips formed a thin line. You never did know when to give up. Dad, I believe with you. Yes, let's have dinner. The four of us finished our plate of food in silence. Once we had cleared our plate, I went up to my study. I had work to do. Hey, I'm a family man. I don't even know what the achievement's for. Does it say what the achievement's for? I never... No, it doesn't actually give me a description. It just says family man. Very cool. Thank you, game. Hey, I got a headphone collectible. I don't even... Wait, why do we get those? Codex. Connections over... No, what is it in? Is it in journal? Or is it in collections? Why did I get the Oh, it's because we're going to go into the war. Okay. I arrived at the Ministry of Defense and entered the war room to discuss the war plans with the general staff. I had never seen this room so packed with people. Every single top-ranking general and admiral in Sordland was in attendance. In addition to our military officers, their assistants were spread out around the room. They stopped their chatter immediately and saluted me. Josef was standing over our table, arranging tokens atop an oversized map of Sordland and Rumburg. He walked up to me and saluted. Mr. President. I gave him a little salute. The general sat down. I took my seat at head of the table. I look around. General Vulcan nodded at me. Josef stood up and picked up an extendable pointer on the shelf of the wall. The chattering around the staff began again. Josef extended his pointer and loudly hit the map on the table right of its center. Silence! The room immediately went quiet. Everyone had their attention on Josef, and he turned to me. Mr. President, shall I begin? Please do. Everyone in this room has read the reports that the Queen of Rumburg is getting ready for a nationwide speech in 2 weeks. We have credible intel that she'll be announcing a declaration of war against Sordland. The Rumburgian troop movement in the last 24 hours indicate that they are bolstering their frontline strength. The time has come. Mr. President, at this point, we are sure that they are preparing for a large-scale invasion. Surely be make us the enemy of the Queen. To say that I'm worried would be an understatement. That's why we've gathered here today. To discuss what we're going to do. You'll make them regret that they ever crossed us. That's what we're going to do. Give it to me straight. What are the odds of success? Odds of success? Let me tell you something, Mr. President. Rumburg doesn't have any idea what or who they are dealing with. We will destroy their armies and send them back to whatever hellhole they came from. Some of the generals laughed. Rest assured, Mr. President, I am more than confident that we will win. Okay, well, how does our military... I cannot trust this guy at all. We had tanks breaking down at our parade. We're fucked. How's our military strength compared to theirs? The estimates put their active military personnel at around 900,000 to 1 million. Meanwhile, we have approximately 200,000 on the ground. Before each decision, we need to discuss it. We are people in chat. We are the War Council. The estimates put their active military personnel around 900. We have about 200. As for the Air Force, our estimates put the number in their fleet about 700. We have approximately 410, of which 140 are state-of-the-art jets. Current fleet is about 60 ships and approximately 60,000 sailors. Forces in the main theater of this war will be on land, so their navy will have limited impact. I predict that they will try to blockade our seaports, reducing our trade and disrupt our supplies. Meanwhile, Rumburg has about 110 ships, and according to their later intelligence reports, high-tech submarines as well. Regrettably, we don't have any estimate on how many submarines that they have. The Queen has ensured her loyal submarines are under state secrecy. Thus, our intelligence officers are having a hard time spotting them. Well, yeah, they're under the water, idiot. Overall, their numbers may seem superior, but I would like to remind everybody that wars are not won with numbers alone. Joseph glanced over to the generals and stopped at Velikan as he shook his head. How soon will they commence the attack? Judging from the movements and their insider information we've received, 2, maybe 3 weeks if we're lucky. There's a collective gasp from some of the generals. I understand. Okay, what's our strategy? Let's begin with our land forces. We currently have the 1st Army deployed on Sordland to reinforce the border. This is the place they will most likely attack from. The 2nd Army is standing at the Laren for a possible assault in the north. The 6th Army is currently garrisoned in Narbel awaiting orders. Due to the potential of an invasion, all 3 armies have been undergoing rigorous drills, especially during the past few months. They are prepared to fight and die for their country, Mr. President. Will it be enough? It must be. Now let's start discussing our path to victory in this war. Our top strategic location is Thurnborough, Rumburg's capital and the Queen's residence. Needless to say, if we manage to capture the Queen, the war will end. Well, where is Thurnborough? I don't think... world map. But yeah, Thurnborough, I mean, that's pretty far inland. I mean, can we still win without capturing Thurnborough? If we can't do that, it'll become a war of attrition. Whether we can outlast them depends on our economy. Ah, fuck! Oh, no! What if she flees Thurnborough before we get there? I'm a proud soldier of Sordland, Mr. President. I'd rather die than give up Holsord to invaders. As I know the prideful person when I see one. If we strike fast, we can capture the capital and the Queen before she comes to her senses. Okay, what are the chances? There might be an opportunity to push for Thurnborough after we capture Zarsborough. But we are ahead of ourselves. We'll get to that when we discuss the war plan. Okay, what are the other objectives? Aside from Thurnborough, the location that we must capture, to even have a chance to win, is Zarsborough. Zarsborough is an intersection of Rumburg's complex railway system. If we take it, we'll have more options on both the offensive and the defensive. Another strategic location is Dome. Capturing Dome will prevent us from being surrounded and cut off from the east. It also reduces the battle line we have to cover with our limited numbers. We do have allies that could aid us, but I see no point. We can fend them off easily. That's ridiculous. We can't fend them off alone. We need help. You're talking about fighting against 1 million men. Of course I'm going to call her. I did not get Lesbia and Agnolia on our side just to be like, you know what? We don't need them. We've begun communications already. Now we have to make it official. At any rate, this is what we're dealing with. Moriosa can continue. A soldier walked in and handed him a note. Mr. President, David Whiskey is requested to join the war planning session. Let him in, let him in. As you wish. After the soldiers left the room, David slowly walked in. He fired off a round of salutes to the generals, then approached me. Mr. President, what are you doing here, my friend? I had a feeling my guidance might be needed. Anton, please allow me to assist in the war plans. What kind of guidance are you talking about? Of course, I lack the military knowledge of the esteemed generals, but I do know people, Mr. President, especially our own people and our allies. Beneficial, though our foreign partners may be, I would still advise you to keep a close eye on them. Are you afraid they might backstab us? No, they wouldn't dare. The international repercussions would be far too high. David gracefully motioned for Yosa to step aside. He was now at the head of the table. I'm sure that our allies will agree to fight by our side. Or depending on our plans and our past interactions with them, some may be more committed than others. He has a point, Mr. President. It's worth keeping that in mind. It's exactly why we shouldn't involve them. I've been good friends to both of them, right? I don't think I've done anything to piss them off. Like, okay, let's go get this out. You, friendly. And you are allied. You're allied. Like, they love me. I heard the sound of boots running down the hall. A soldier rushed in, urgently pulled Vulcan aside and whispered in his ear. The general's face turned white. He hurriedly straightened the lapels. We've been under attack. Oh, it's Harkin's soul. He's here, he's here. Before Vulcan could answer, the door swung open. Every single man in the room immediately stood bolt upright and saluted. Colonel, Gentlemen, Tarkin Sol was dressed in his old uniform. The insignia of the 6th Army, the Sword's Armed Forces, displayed prominently on his chest. An assistant scrambled to find him a chair. He put aside his cane and sat at the head of the table while the rest of the room stood rigidly at attention. It is an honor to have you here at this time of need, sir. How can these old bones of mine rest while my beloved country goes to war? I'll salute him. He gave a satisfactory nod. At ease, everyone. I don't think the Colonel's war credentials need to be reiterated. Having him here will be an immense help to us, as well as help to bolster the morale for our troops. It may not be as fit as I was during my last war, but I still remember how the game is played. Colonel, you're too humble. Well, I'm looking forward to working with you, Colonel. So am I, Mr. President. You have shown great leadership in times of peace. Let us see how you act in times of war. Shall we get started? Joseph paused for a moment before picking his pointer back up. Our first objective is taking Zarsborough. So how are we taking the city? There are 3 options on the table at the moment. One is to simply dig in and endure the first wave attack, then retaliate after they're weakened. Our second option is to launch a full-scale offensive on Zarsborough. We will strike them at hard and fast before they have a chance to draw first blood, which is insane in my opinion. Our third option is to do a pincer attack and wipe out their forces, then march towards Zarsborough. In any case, our soldiers in the main armies are being well drilled. They're ready to carry out any strategy that we choose. Unfortunately, our armed forces are under-equipped, and all soldiers will have a grenade and a handgun. But at least we'll have the manpower. Have you heard anything from our allies? Agnolia will join us in the war. Prime Minister Van Horn contacted us and said that his war target is Dome. Rumburg annexed Dome in the past. It is only natural that they want their ancestral homeland back now. Can they take Dome back by themselves? Unfortunately, their chances of success are very low. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Rumburg overwhelms them at the Dome front line. Since we haven't recognized Hajiland, the Agnolians are more worried than ever about Vagsland invading. The Agnolians will leave half their army defending their goddamn island. That might be a problem. If Rumburg shatters the Agnolian army, they'll have access to Agland and they can flank us from the east. So we can also ask them to join our pincer strategy. However, that will leave Agnolia vulnerable to direct attack from Dome, leaving her capital in striking distance of Rumburg. They will need to concentrate their troops if they are hold out against Rumburg's superior forces. Prime Minister Alvarez has already announced support for the war. They will only field 2 armored divisions and mechanized forces, but no more than 20 divisions. And they even refuse to move their air force to help us in this war, as they said they need to defend their own interest, which sounds like a load of crap to me. I'm not surprised, to be honest. With our economy doing into a depression, we do not worth that much, to Prime Minister Alvarez's point of view. So he's only set only portion for his army as he gestured the alliance, knowing full well that we might die. Or that they might die. What a heartless capitalist bastard. Joseph, calm down. We must not lose our head during this critical moment. Joseph took a deep breath to calm himself. Nonetheless, it is undoubtable that their troops will be able to make up for our own army's weaknesses. Unfortunately, they're too far away to arrive in time for the first wave. Their massive army has to move to the front line. Prime Minister Alvarez is a very opportunistic person. I'm afraid that he might withdraw soldiers if we suffer defeat in our opening battles. In my run, where I got smushed by Rumburg, Sol came to the War Council just to tell me I was fucked. If you build a railroad to our army reaching the front sooner? Well, it's a little too late for that now, isn't it? How is digging in and waiting for them to attack a good option? When they launch their initial offensive, our soldiers and tanks will be entrenched in strategic and well-fortified positions. Let them throw their manpower at our impenetrable line of defense. We'll grind down their armies so that they are so proud of. Whether their pride shattered, their morale low, and our line disorganized, they'll launch an all-out assault to strike a finishing blow. Which makes no sense. You're handing out the time and motivation to come up with a plan to attack us. They outnumber us, Joseph. With this move, you'll be destroyed, or at worst, limit the effectiveness of their advantage. We don't even have a manpower to cover the entire border. We don't even have enough reserves to fill potential weaknesses. All thanks to you. You were the one that pushed President Rayne to remove mandatory conscription. You know the material to do that? Tell me about this pincer move. We will feign an assault on Krimsrad, with the full intention of tricking the enemy. Casualties are expected to be a certain extent, so that Rumburg does not become suspicious of our real intentions. When they believe that they are winning, we will push for Estord. With their confidence so high, they'll never expect the second army to come from the east and the sixth army to come from the west, which are holding their striking positions. At the beginning of the day capture Sordland, we will pull the trigger. Our bombers will strike at the logistics hub behind them, after which we'll attack Sordland from all three sides, destroying the enemy forces. While Rumburg is recovering from its losses, Zarsbro will be ripe for the taking. That's the time for us to immediately launch a counteroffensive towards Zarsbro and take the city. Are you mad, General? Letting Rumburg invaders into Sordland? Might as well invite the Queen to tea and Holsord while you're at it. I'm confident that we will achieve complete victory with my strategy. Okay, what about a full-on assault? If we choose to assault Zarsbro, our first step will have our bombers strike them on the front line. More precisely, at strategic points on the path to Zarsbro from Sordland. Then our tanks will come in and puncture their defensive in Krimstrad, followed up by our soldiers. After we penetrate their line, we will race for Zarsbro, threatening to encirclement of their forces, which all sounds much easier than it is. Let me remind you that we are butting heads with an army far larger than ours. They will cover their weaknesses in the line rapidly, which will leave our troops that are pushing through isolated. Our planes will bomb them to smithereens. With what air force? We'll be overwhelmed by Rumburg's plane the moment they take off. Without air superiority, our troops will have a tough time on the battlefield. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking defense so that we can allow ourselves to, so that we can wait for Lesbian forces to arrive. Since you removed the Jeremiah from the defense ministry, the army's even weaker. I would suggest that we do not strike Zarsbro right away. General Kruger, your confidence and bold strategy are commendable, but a blunt, by-the-book approach like this only works if our forces are equal in power. I apologize for my incompetence, sir. However unreliable our allies can be, they can cover our military weaknesses if we utilize their cooperation well. Looking at the plans that have been proposed, I don't see a path to victory by ourselves. I'm leaning towards defense. It's like, I mean, it's defense or piercing or pincer maneuver. That's what I'm not too sure of. So you got one vote for defense from Sordland. Anybody have any other suggestions? I think pincer attack would be interesting, but you defend, you get help. I won with pincer, but I was also stronger and had more allies. We got 2 votes for defense, 1 vote for pincer. I think we can dig in. We are so doomed then. Decision already made, Yosef. It's on our allies then. Meanwhile, Agnolia will be assaulting Dome, creating a second front. Empty the vault to get... what vault? I'm at -6. I don't got a vault. Lesbia's armies will reinforce us to the front line. Yosef and I signed the plan document for the first phase of the war, handed them off to the nearest soldier. So let's assume at this point we have Zarsbro in our hands. Just a first step. From this point on, we'll be hotter since we're going deep into hostile territory. I see 2 options for us to move forward. We either continue pushing towards Rumburg and capture the Queen, or we turn our attention towards Dome. We risk being flanked from the east with either strategy, but it's a risk we might take. Unfortunately, Axeland and Argus will be mostly shut down due to the war happening on their border. Most businesses have already begun to flee the city of Lockhaven, which is our primary trade hub. Thus, our economy will take a big hit due to this fact. Our industrial production and trade lanes will be crucial at this point of the war. Our military production is at an all-time low right now. We lack to supply some units. Unfortunately, our trade volume is not enough to support our war effort. We'll have to rely on our own production. Oh, we're gonna die. Okay. Well, how would we take Thronesboro? Where's Dome is over here. So they want us to go to Zarsbro, and then either we go to Dome, I guess how about Agnolia, or we push away to Thornsboro. Where's Sordland? They mentioned Sordland a few. Oh, Sordland's here. I mean, it's already in my own borders. Okay, brief window opportunity for us to march towards Thornborough. However, we hesitate for even a moment, this window would close. Even worse, the enemy will realize that we are overextended and they will try to cut us off. This will leave the bulk of our army isolated in the cold north. As much as I want to crush all Rumburgian hope by taking the capital, our doctrine does not include these kind of rapid advances. To boot, our supply lines will be stretched too thin, creating a weak point that we can exploit by the enemy. Okay, what about the Dome strategy? Dome and Salzburg were excellently linked logistically. There is a railway between these two cities. This will aid us in transporting military supplies and our troops. We can easily launch an assault on Dome within half a week after taking Zarborough. With that said, control of the rail system is key because Rumburg will utilize it as well. If they can withstand our assault, they can launch a counteroffensive with ease in the direction of Dome to retake Zarborough. We will lose everything we've gained so far. However, with the capture of Dome, there will be no need to take Zarborough. It would be too late to attack anyway. Rumburg would either reinforce their southern defenses, or the Queen would come to her senses and flee the capital. Even if we manage to capture Throneborough without their Queen, we won't be able to hold it during the winter. Our supply lines will be too stretched out for that. However, with two of their largest cities in our hands, we can lay a defensive line, especially around Dome. They took it from Magnolia because of the oil fields surrounding it. Their industrial sector has since been heavily relied upon it. With their oil supply cut, they won't have the fuel for their large war machine, and their economy will slowly collapse. We will be effectively choking them until they capitulate. But we'll have to consider the defenses in and around the city of Dome. Ever since they took it from Magnolia, they've been building up fortifications in case of an Magnolian attempt to retake the city. Furthermore, due to the length of the operation to take Zalzborough, they would come to the realization that Dome is our next target. There's no guarantee that we can take a well-reinforced and fortified city while holding the line at the western and northern fronts. Okay, what about our allies? If we choose to push towards Throneborough, it needs to be quick and decisive. It would be unwise to take any of our allies with us. We can either have them stay and defend our flank in Zarborough or assault Dome. However, Agnolian's persistence in attacking Dome with or without us brought up some dilemmas. It's all good if they manage to accomplish retaking the city, but I and our generals don't think that they can. If Rumburg armies manage to launch a counterattack through Agnolia from Dome due to Agnolia, failing to take the city, we're in big trouble. Thronesborough will be surrounded from the north, west, and east. We'll be practically a sitting duck at that point. They are even requesting more supplies for their siege of Dome. Unfortunately, we barely have enough supplies for ourselves, so that's out of the question. Your opinion, Colonel? Without sufficient production capacity and supplies to secure our procure through trade, our chance of victory seems slim. I think we need to attack Dome. Does Rumburg have nukes? I really don't know. If we attack Dome and lay out a defensive line, let them come and get us. You're wasting opportunity to end this war once and for all, Mr. President. It is decided, Yosef. Very well. I will add to the battle plan. Let us decide of our allies' movements during the phase. What about Lespi's armies? I think they should defend our flanks. That's my thought, that they should defend the flank while we push in to help Agnolia take Dome. So I'm going to be doing, I think I'm going to take that choice for us. Agnolia will probably be struggling to take Dome at this point. And that, gentlemen, is our plan against Rumburg. We only have one chance of victory. If you falter at any point during this war, it'll be the end of Sordland as we know it. Mr. President, we need your executive order to mobilize the forces. Joseph handed me the document and waited for me to sign it. It's called Operation Fallen Crown. That'll make it official then. He turned to the generals in the room. We have work to do. Get back to your post immediately. The general saluted us, and the war room dispersed to begin preparations. Only 3 people were left in the room. Me, David, and the colonel. David approached me. Win or lose, this will be my last great contribution to my country. Let's protect the Republic, Anton. I'll continue to do so until my last breath, David. He gave me a tired smile. He warmly shook my hand before moving on to the door. The colonel and I faced each other. Thank you, Colonel, for being here. Where else would I be? A good leader is always there for the country in times of need. Let's hope that the next time we meet, it'll be under a Swordfish flag in Zalzborough. God willing. He saluted me and then headed for the door. I stood there alone in the war room, looking at the map of Sordland laid out on the table. I picked up one of the little metal tokens on it and turned it over in my hand. It represented thousands of men who were willing to die for this country. For me. I hoped I would not let them down. I will. We are fucked up. We're so... Rumburg is, as I just say, like, at war now. In order to address the decades-long atrocities committed by Sordland once and for all, she's declared a state of war exists. At war. Very, very cool. We have an alliance, trade agreement. Maybe I should have allowed, maybe I should have said to the ATO I would have taken their weapons. Agnolian's commander has been sent to us reports of their armies in place to launch a full assault on Dome. Yet their numbers seem to betray their commitment to retake the city, as a significant portion of the country's forces stayed behind to prevent Hajiland from potential Vaxlandian invasion. Democratic Republic of Voxlong reaffirms its dedication to fostering peace in Eastern Makopa. The rising tension between Rumburg and Sordland must be prevented from escalating further. My man, it's a little too late for that now. Lesbian Military Command joined with the Swordfish Military Command. Latest reports indicating that their armored and mechanized divisions are on their way. Support First Army. Okay, declares World Liberation Manifestation. Strategic vision focused on promoting liberty, equity, and wealth across the globe. Whose declaration marks the ATO's dedication to advance these core values, serving as a counterpoint to CSP's recent World Revolution Manifesto. Advocates for a world where freedom, fairness, and prosperity reign supreme. These principles are rooted in ATO's belief in a fair, free market economy and democratic governance. Very cool. Very cool. So, Lesbian armies have been slowed down. After days of travel from Holsord to Lockhaven, Lesbian armies requested to rest and restock their supplies in Enrica. However, the mayor of Enrica has refused to let foreign armies enter the Sworded City due to fear of upheaval or even potential takeover. Who let this man? I hate this man. Okay. Nationwide mobilization order. New recruits will be mostly serving as reserves, but we will prepare for the worst case scenario. Approximately 1 million men have been recruited so far and will begin their accelerated training immediately. Oh, I didn't read the news. Attention to all citizens who are eligible for military service. By law, you are required to report to the nearest Swordfish Armed Forces Recruitment Center immediately. You'll be tested for aptitude and receive your orders. On a failure to abide, severe legal action will be taken. Do your duty for our nation. Following the mobilization order issued by the government, the reality of war in Rumburg is drawing closer. We must do whatever is possible to stop the war. If we fail to do so, thousands of people will die, all in the name of politics. Reach out to your local politician. Tell them to fight for peace. We need to prevent a large-scale conflict no matter what. We do not want a future where our children will be left fatherless and motherless. We want to see a future where the people of Sordland make love, not war. Troop deployments and movements near the Swordfish-Rumburg border have increased tenfold over the previous weeks, signifying a potential hot conflict brewing. The recent nationwide mobilization order also proves that Sordland is preparing their defenses against Rumburg. Regional neighbors in the Alliance of Nations urge calm in the region, with the exception of President Smolak. Smolak, you should also join the war. You don't like Rumburg either. You should provide me with weapons. There's already an active... Oh, this is the scene, okay. I was standing at the exact same podium overlooking the Hill of Pride where my inauguration took place. However, the mood this time was far from cheerful. I looked at the people of Sordland below. They were gazing up at me with confusion and concern. My name was announced. I stepped forward as the cameras flashed and the crowd started clapping. My brothers and sisters, the clapping and cheering faded into a deafening silence. As you have heard yesterday, Rumburg has declared war upon Sordland. It is my duty as your president to inform you that in the following days our country will be targeted with the more heinous attacks by our enemy. The Swordfish Army is standing ready and vigilant to defend our country against any threat. They're playing with fire. Let's teach them that the fire that burns inside the Swordfish people is unlike any other. Our people, our territories, our home is in a grave danger due to the hostilities that have yet to come. We call on the international community to condemn this deliberate attempt to disrupt world peace. Unfortunately, they are giving us no option but to declare a war to protect our sovereignty. I have no doubts that we will emerge victorious in this senseless conflict. Morga West Corps Veterans Da. The crowd started cheering. Soldiers and military staff stood up and saluted me at the same time. Salute the crowd. I left the podium and as the crowd roared even louder. Regardless of my bravado during my speech, I was worried about what the future would bring. I had to find out. Achievement unlocked. I got a gun. What's the gun for? Okay. Thank you, gun. I thought the gun unlock was going to be from me getting assassinated, but I'm glad I'm not dead yet. Oh, there's so many pop-ups to read. Okay. Sordland goes to war. So it has come to this. Sordland is indeed going to war with Rumburg, following what the President Rayne referred to as a dastardly attack on our sovereignty by our northern neighbor. In a speech at the capital, he expressed his confidence of our military's capabilities and promised the citizens of Sordland that they would emerge victorious. More innocent people in both Sordland and Rumburg are about to be killed to serve their government's twisted ends. Anton Rayne has announced that following Rumburg's provocations, Sordland has had no choice but to engage in war. To which we reply, there's always a choice. Sordland has already been seeing so much bloodshed in its history. How many more young men will die before it stops? Speaking from the Hill of Pride in Holsord, Swordlish President Anton Rayne gave a speech announcing that his country would indeed be going to war with Rumburg. Tension between the two countries have been escalating ever since Rayne took office, coming to a head in the past months following the perceived provocation of Rumburg's side. How's the economy doing, by the way? You know what? It's not any worse than it was. We are at war. Yeah, that is a negative modifier, I would say. In the place of Rumburg soldiers managed to break our defenses, there have been atrocities reported of war crimes. These reports outline death marches on the dislocated civilian populations and mistreatment of prisoners. According to a field commander, they do not fight like a regular army. Reports of new chemical weapons have been sent over to Holsord. The war crimes will be reported to the international community for the whole world to see. At 7 o'clock, Rumburg launched their tactical bombers ready to bomb our trenches across the border. Our fighters attempted to lift their bombers' effectiveness. Dogfights occurred in the sky as bombs were being dropped across the battlefield for several hours straight. At 10 o'clock, Rumburg initiated an all-out assault with their tank columns leading the attack. Our hauled-out tanks managed to barely hold the line, while infantry fought in the trenches nearby supporting them. Rumburg bombing runs began yesterday night. They have leveled most of the urban areas, attacking hospitals and schools alike. There are many dead among the civilian populace. Local commanders report civilians and wounded children inside their targeted areas. We are sending more anti-aircraft systems into Sordland to defend the city, but local defenses are heavily damaged. After 3 hours of constant fighting, the momentum of Rumburg army started to die down. As President Vulcan was about to order an all-out assault to puncture Rumburg's defense lines at Krimsrad, news of our eastern front's collapse in Axland arrived. Rumburg's military pressure started mounting up again following the events. As we were unable to send troops to support the eastern flank, the only option was to retreat all divisions back to Lockhaven to avoid full encirclement of the enemy. Very cool, very cool. We stopped the continuous shelling of Narbel by Rumburgian artillery. Yesterday night, our artillery brigades have targeted their location and destroyed their heavy weaponry in a counter-artillery strike. Our divisions will take this opportunity to attempt a breakthrough to create pockets, trap the enemy tanks. Victor insista. Our generals in the front line are requesting more ammunition, grenades, and medical equipment on the front line. According to their reports, our troops are barely holding line, and some of our soldiers can't even shoot back due to the lack of ammunition. Our artillery units have to fire selectively for what caused a big rift between our generals on where our focus should be. We're so dead. Heavy fighting broke out as Rumburgian soldiers advanced on their defense position in Suzerain. We have lost 87 soldiers, 2 tanks, and 14 warplanes. Rumburg's attack has been thwarted, but the assaults are expected to continue. Behind the front line, a special operation team managed to sneak into the enemy territory and demolish the enemy AA systems. They were spotted by the enemy and the air strike struck the position. Okay, very cool, very cool. Rumburg's navy has been spotted patrolling the Marquian Sea. Despite our numerous attempts to assert control over the area, we do not contend with their superior submarine fleets. Hundreds of Swordlish trade ships bearing military supplies have consequently been sunk. Hundreds? That seems like a lot. Sometime later. Okay. Yep, okay, we can still move this. International conflict. Economy. I mean, the economy has not gone down anymore. The Battle of Holsord. I undid my tie slowly and rose from my seat in the protected bunker on the outskirts of Holsord. I increased the volume of the crackling radio. The enemy is advancing on us, requesting backup. We are surrounded from all sides. I repeat, we are surrounded. They were using some kind of gas. Our soldiers' eyes and ears were bleeding. We need immediate assistance on Victory Avenue. Medics! We need more medics. They are approaching the Room Palace. We must protect the president at all costs. Squad 6 will initiate the final charge while we barricade the palace. Please tell my wife I love her. Gressie Sordland. They are coming in through the other gates. They killed everyone. We surrender our weapons, but they won't stop shooting. If there is a god, I beg you, please end this. If there's anyone listening to this right now, please, the world needs to know what's going on. There's no longer a war, this is a massacre. Squad 2 out. I turned the radio off and swallowed hard. Nobody knew I wasn't at the palace, except for Yosef. Miraculously, he managed to get my family here as well. Right now, he was monitoring communications in the adjoining room. I walked in and he saluted. The enemy is preparing to breach the palace. It's not only a matter of time before they realize you're not there. How long until they find us? That depends, sir. If your ex-secretary handed Rumburg the palace schematics, they might know about the tunnel that leads here from the Situation Room. Yeah, but even if they do, this room was built to withstand nuclear attacks. We should be safe here for the moment. The diversion at the palace should buy us some time. Of course, the question is how much time? We've lost contact with a squadron protecting our outer perimeter at the palace. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Well, I looked at Monica, Dina, and Frank. Dina started running at me crying. I wiped her tears away. Papa, are we going to die? I'm just going to hug her. Anton, can you come here for a second? We went to a corner where Dina wouldn't be able to hear us. What's really going on? Tell me the truth. Oh, we're most likely done for. But Dina, Frank. Dad, are we screwed? I wish I knew that, son. It's not very reassuring. Despite our location many meters underground, I felt the room shaking. It must have been the bombs. Yosa came out of the communication room and pulled me aside. Sir, the palace is about to fall. And one of the Rumburg combatants was overheard saying that he located the tunnel entrance. So this is the end. Looks like it. They got troops stationed in the woods above us. It's only time to get out. This is through the palace or not at all. Look around, get comfortable, because this room will be our grave. If they only want me, I'm going to the palace. Are you mad? You want to run straight into the enemy sights? I have a duty to this nation. You've shown me that you are not a coward, Mr. President. Okay. Let's go fight him on our own. He took off his jacket and walked over the bunker weapon cache, loading himself up with everything that was left. He turned to me and gave me his handgun. Anton, don't you fucking dare. This is the only way to save you and Dina. And Frank, he's here there. Yosef punched the code to the panel of the door, and it slid open. We left the bunker. It closed behind us with a final sounding thud. The small electric vehicle Yosef had used to get me here from the palace was still outside. We got in and drove down the dark passageway for several minutes, until we reached the secret entrance of the Situation Room. We disembarked and cautiously approached the door. Voice could be heard on the other side. Yosef shouldered his machine gun. Wait here, Mr. President. Yosef flung the door open and, in a flurry of gunfire, easily dispatched a small group of soldiers outside. The two of us cautiously crept through the building, then up to the palace winding halls and staircases. Avoiding footsteps when we heard, eventually we finally reached my office. Everything was the same as when we left it. I'll pour myself a glass of whiskey. I looked at the chair in front of my desk and remembered happier times with Peter. I raised my glass and finished it all. Sit in my chair one last time. I ran my hands over the leather armrest. I had always felt comfortable sitting here. My mind went back to all the conversations I had in this chair, all the important decisions that I made. I wondered which of them had led me to this miserable end. I opened the curtains and looked out the window. Black smoke was rising from downtown Holsord. Buildings shook, groaned, and collapsed as bombs went off. From afar, I saw the bodies of people, civilians, strewn across roads and sidewalks. This is what had become of Holsord, of Sordland. As the door to my office flew open, it was Yosef. His shoulder was bleeding. He stumbled inside, collapsed on the couch, and took a huge slug of my whiskey. They're here, Mr. President. They're inside the palace. They're coming for you. I heard gunfire and more screams from the floor beneath us. Don't forget about the handgun I gave you. Of course, it's up to you how you want to use it. Mr. President, before I go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for failing our country. I thought we could hold on and fight Rumburg's first wave. Even with our best efforts, we failed. He stared down to the floor, lost in regrets. All we can do is make a last stand. I was interrupted by the sound of a loud noise of gunfire in the hall outside. Well, that's my cue. He pointed to his belt, saw several grenades hanging from it. Out with a bang, right? He turned to me. No matter what. It was an honor to serve with you, sir. I'll salute him. America West Corps. Victor insista. Yosef ran to the door and opened it. He heard a metallic sound of a pin removed from the grenades. Resi Sordland! Gunshots rang out. Then an ear-splitting explosion followed by silence. A good long minute passed. Then I heard the faint sound of approaching footsteps. I redid my tie. I looked at myself in the mirror before sitting down at my desk. I looked down at the gun Yosef had given me and shifted it from one hand to the other. The door burst open and a soldier of a Rumburgian uniform stormed in. He turned his rifle to me. Point the gun towards the soldier. And I got shot dead, right? You point the gun at the soldier. The young man, no more than Frank's age, unfairly asked to die for his country. The two men burst in and started yelling at you to lower your weapon and broken swordist. I mean, we're in for a penny and for a pound. Pull the trigger. Young man collapsed motionlessly. Swearing his reinforcements aimed a rifle at you, you managed to kill another one in melee. When the gunfire ended, you looked down your body. Blood was everywhere. You looked at the other side of the door. Monica, Dina, and Frank were yelling and reaching for you. Soldiers grabbed their arms. Their screams were heartbreaking. As you faded away, you prayed the soldiers would spare them. You said you felt so tired that you couldn't keep your eyes open. You decided to rest for just a moment. After taking a deep breath, you closed your eyes, and Anton Rayne was no more. There we go. That history will remember you as a centrist malleativist. Bernard Zacchaeus, leader of the Communist Party, leader of the WPP. Peter Vectrin, true centrist. And there we go. Between 1954 and 1958, 645,983 soldiers died during combat, and 1.3 million civilians from all sides died from famine, epidemics, gas exposure, and widespread devastation across the country. 81% fewer maternal and infant deaths were reported. 8,222 people died due to criminal violence. 33,760 people were arrested for their suspected ties to the Red Youth and Young Swords. 589,112 Swordist lives were lost during the Rumburg invasion. More than 15,899 people of British descent were released from prison. 3,899 legal cases were delayed. 614,407 women joined the workforce, and 805,380 girls were enrolled in secondary education. 81,340 companies declared 81,000 bankruptcies. What if it hit back? Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll end the game there. And that was Suzerain. What a fucking depressing end. All because you signed the Women's Act.